This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description. Stablecoins are ostensibly safer than regular cryptocurrency, thanks to their ties to less volatile assets, but US regulators apparently aren't convinced. Regulators are worried stablecoins hurt stability more than they help. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about the Stablecoin CRACKDOWN PWG Report, what it means for you. US officers are discussing launching a proper review into whether or not Tether and different stablecoins threaten monetary stability, scrutiny that would result in dramatically ramped up oversight for a fast-growing nook of the crypto market. After weeks of deliberations, the Treasury Department and different federal businesses are nearing a choice on whether or not to launch an examination by the Financial Stability Oversight Council. Mention three individuals accustomed to the matter who requested to not be named in commenting on closed-door discussions. FSOC has the facility to deem companies or actions a systemic risk to the monetary system, a label that sometimes units off powerful guidelines and aggressive monitoring by regulators. Such a designation would seemingly be a game-changer for stablecoins that are thought of essential to the crypto market as a result of merchants extensively use them to purchase Bitcoin and different digital currencies. Before we move on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now because if not, your crypto investment will crack down as well. Don't want that to happen, right? So do make sure to keep on watching. Stablecoins have thrived within the unregulated shadows, with tokens in circulation now valued greater than $120 billion, in response to CoinMarketCap.com. And they're more and more getting used for transactions that resemble conventional monetary merchandise, like financial institution financial savings accounts, without providing any place close to the identical stage of client protections. An indicator of stablecoins is that they're pegged to fiat currencies. That means they're imagined to be resistant to the wild value swings which have plagued Bitcoin. Tether and different corporations obtained that by backing their tokens with belongings like US in dollars and company debts. A presidential working group on financial markets is believed to be most concerned about Tether. The cryptocurrency's operator said they stabilized their funds by holding large amounts of corporate debt. That could be vulnerable to chaotic investor runs if cryptocurrency values tanked, according to Bloomberg. While a firm decision isn't expected until December, when the working group is believed to be issuing recommendations, there's reportedly a consensus in favor of an Oversight Council review. If that happens, the council could label stablecoins as threats that warrant strict regulation. Numerous cryptocurrencies could be forced to change their business models or even shut down. As it stands, stablecoins are at risk from government competition. The Federal Reserve is exploring the possibility of launching a central bank cryptocurrency, and such a move could render private options moot in the US. There wouldn't be much point to them if there was an official, potentially more reliable equivalent. Whatever happens, it's safe to say the existing stablecoin market might not last long as is if a review goes forward. On November 1st, the US Treasury Department announced that the President's Working Group on Financial Markets, or PWG, with the FDIC and the OCC, collectively agencies, released a report on stablecoins, which are kind of digital asset intended to maintain a stable value relative to the US dollar. The report noted that stablecoins may be more widely used in the future as a means of payment, which Secretary of Treasury Janet L. Yellen said could increase risks to users and the broader system. Additionally, Secretary Yellen considers current stablecoin oversight to be inconsistent and fragmented. Among other things, the report discussed gaps in regulatory authority to reduce these risks. The report recommended that Congress promptly enact legislation to address the risks of payment stablecoins and ensure that payment stablecoins and payment stablecoin arrangements are subject to consistent and comprehensive federal oversight, and to increase transparency into key aspects of stablecoin arrangements, and to ensure that stablecoins function in both normal times and in stressed market conditions. According to the announcement, such legislation would complement existing authorities with respect to market integrity, investor protection, and illicit finance, and would address key concerns: risk to stablecoin users and stablecoin runs, payment system risk and systematic risk, and concentration of economic power. The report highlights the potential for destabilizing runs, disruptions in the payment system, and concentration of economic power in connection with the use of stablecoins, and many of the recommendations are focused on these concerns. While the report also discusses investor protection, market integrity, and illicit finance concerns related to stablecoins, it makes no specific recommendations as to those issues. Legislative recommendations. The report makes the following legislative recommendations for bringing stablecoins within a prudential regulatory framework. Stablecoin runs. To address risks to stablecoin users and guard against stablecoin runs, legislation should require stablecoin issuers to be insured depository institutions which are subject to appropriate supervision and regulation at the depository institution and the holding company level. Payment system risk. To address concerns about payment system risk, in addition to the requirements for the regulation of stablecoin issuers, legislation should require custodial wallet providers to be subject to appropriate federal oversight. Congress should also provide the federal supervisor of a stablecoin issuer with the authority to require any entity that performs activities that are critical to the functioning of the stablecoin arrangement to meet appropriate risk management standards. Systemic risk and concentration. To address additional concerns about systemic risk and concentration of economic power, legislation should require stablecoin issuers to comply with activity restrictions that limit affiliation with commercial entities. Supervisors should have authority to implement standards to promote interoperability among stablecoins. In addition, Congress may wish to consider other standards for custodial wallet providers, such as limits on affiliation with commercial entities or on use of users' transaction data. Therefore, to prevent misuse of stablecoins and other digital assets, the announcement noted that Treasury will continue leading efforts at the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, to encourage countries to implement international AML-CFT standards and pursue more resources to support supervision of domestic AML-CFT regulations. Perhaps recognizing that any potential legislation in this area would likely take substantial time to make its way through Congress and be enacted into law, the report makes several recommendations on how the agencies should use their existing authorities to address these prudential risks to the extent possible. Banks, fintechs, and other companies are taking increasing notice of stablecoins and considering what role, if any, stablecoins should play in their business. The law around stablecoins is complex and unsettled, and the prospects for near-term change in the legal regimes surrounding stablecoins is high. Businesses that are interested in integrating stablecoins into their operation must consider a number of legal issues. The report is a significant occurrence in the path to federal regulation of stablecoins. It contains dramatic recommendations, the most significant of which is that stablecoin issuance should be limited to IDIs. The clear goal of the PWG, OCC, and FDIC is to bring stablecoins and their attendant risks under the umbrella of federal financial services regulation, whether by congressional act, regulatory action, or FSOC designation. While this has been the first collective federal regulatory action with respect to stablecoins, it's unlikely to be the last. Given the significant and growing risks posed by stablecoins, the federal financial agencies are committed to taking action to address risks falling within each agency's jurisdiction and to continued coordination and collaboration on issues of common interest. This also includes promotion of investors and market protection measures, such as requiring clear and useful disclosures, protecting against fraud, manipulation, and other risks, and continuing engagement in international fora such as the FATF, FSB, and CPMI IOSCO to promote comprehensive and consistent oversight. Stablecoins are digital assets that are designed to maintain a stable value relative to a national currency or other reference assets. Today, stablecoins are primarily used in the United States to facilitate trading, lending, or borrowing of other digital assets, predominantly on or through digital asset trading platforms. Proponents believe stablecoins could become widely used by households and businesses as a means of payment. If well designed and appropriately regulated, stablecoins could support faster, more efficient, and more inclusive payment options. The purpose of the PWG report is to identify regulatory gaps related to stablecoins with the potential to be used as a means of payment and to present recommendations for addressing those gaps. And that's it for today's video, guys. Well, what are your thoughts about the stablecoin crackdown? Do you think that Congress will act on this report? Or will these agencies act by themselves? Let's know your thoughts about this video in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.